Hello and welcome. This is the Wavetone engine walkthrough on the Digitone 2. This is the third in the series of me walking through these machines one at a time. And Wavetone's probably my favorite. It is one of the more straightforward ones. The not the easiest one, but the second easiest one, I would say. But don't underestimate it, because it can do a lot of fun stuff that some of the other ones cannot, and it is definitely invaluable. So the basic idea of it is two oscillators that can be individually tuned, and the shape of them can be changed, and there is a phase distortion, which is like pulse width, that can be changed per oscillator. And there's lots of things for like detuning and rhythmic beating and stuff like that. And there's ring mod and hard sync and a fun type of noise that lets you tune it and sound kind of like retro sometimes. But yeah, here's some examples. This is a bass called Octabass that comes with as a preset. It's pretty nice. And I'll just... This is one I made. It has some cool movement and evolution over time. You can see this is using hard sync, and the Wave 2 is tuned all the way down -5 octaves. And got some LFOs going on, but I'll get too into that. And this is the weirdest one. So to show you how far you can get with some sound design here, just wait. This is it's using some LFOs to really mess with the tuning and some filter stuff. But I use this in a recent song, and it's got some pretty cool stuff that happens. And we got just kind of a generic ARP. That is one that came with it. Nothing special, but nice to have. This is going to be it can make a lot of like easy, simple tones. So if you want to make a nice arpeggio, this is a good machine to go to. Great for pads as well, of course. I just love that new chord mode. My lord, it's just so good. And this is a nice engine to do with it, because it does a lot of like big chords and stuff really well. Sidetracked. Just a fun little kind of retro sound. Got a lot of, just a little bit of sample rate reduction and stuff going on, some noise, ring mod, all that jazz. Oops. for this, which is pretty cool. Alrighty, so let's just go through the things. This is what you're here for. So yeah, you can tune each oscillator independently. And I'm just going to add some, I'm going to raise the volumes of these and add some overdrive just to, so you can hear it a little better. It also changes the wave. Yeah, so you can tune each one individually. And if you're new to synthesis, slightly detuning one will add a bit of a pulse rhythm to it. It's really nice to add some character. If you add too much, it'll be a little out of tune, but you know, that stuff can be automated as well, and sometimes that's what you want. But I'll show you as you, well, I'll get actually to that later. I'll just put it back to nothing. A nice thing to do is to like lower. If you, by the way, if you hold funk, you can go in octaves. If you don't know that, again, because some people are watching this that are brand new. Yeah, lowering an octave or two to give like a bass tone to a sound is pretty nice. And that way you're still like, it's like you're playing two notes, but it's only using one voice of your polyphony. So that is a nice thing to do. But yeah, you can change each of the waves. It will seamlessly morph between a sine to a triangle to a saw to a square. You can do that for both. And then you got this phase distortion, so it's basically pulse width, but you can use it on any shape, not just a square, because pulse width is usually just squares. The strongest audible difference will be on a square, but it's pretty good on, like, even, let's go to like a triangle. So you can't hear it too much there, but like if you could squeeze it all the way to the side. Let's get rid of this one so you just hear that. Pretty nice, yeah. Biggest difference towards the sides. Alrighty. So that's those. But yeah, let's hear like a square. Modulating that is a fun thing to do as well. Let's just quickly oscillator 1 phase distortion. Anyways, that's just a nice thing to modulate. So next page, we got the offsets here. So these are a little cryptic, but so what it is, if you're detuning here, so these are just kind of different kinds of detune, but it's not what you want to do if you want to like greatly detune something. This is for mostly if you want to like do a rhythmic beating that stays consistent. So these detune in hertz, which I don't know the nitty gritty of, but that is the difference. This detunes in hertz and these detune in cents. So I'll just show you this, like, let's do that. So you hear, okay, this rhythmic beating, but as we go higher, the rhythm gets faster. Like you can hear, it's really fast now. And it gets slower as you get lower. So let's put that, lock it back in tune again. And then just go to here and do the offset. So instead, we'll offset. And you can hear that rhythmic pulsing. All right? Tune up, it's still the same rhythmic pulsing. so it doesn't get faster or slower. So that's what that can be used for. There's just some fun areas in it too. But the thing with that is that will detune more as you get into lower notes. So higher up, it's fine, but if you get really low, you can hear even that small amount is pretty detuned. It's actually not that bad, but anyways, that is what that is for. And it is a fun thing to do because these kind of like rhythmic beatings and stuff, they add a lot to the character of the sound. So you should use stuff like that a lot. So then we got the table selectors. So this just switches between the prime table, which is on the first page, the basic like sine, triangle, saw, square. And then you can go to this alternative harmonic table, which is a bunch of kind of random harmonic shapes, similar to the chord mode and the model cycles and syntakt. So you got that here as an option, and since you can use both, that's kind of nice. Just to kind of blend them together. So that's kind of a fun thing. And then we got the mod here for doing ring mod or hard sync. So off by default, and then you can put on a ring mod. So this first. So ring modulation, I'm not going to explain it too much because, I mean, it's kind of complex and I don't really fully understand it, but it's basically, it adds the waveforms together and it subtracts them from each other, and the output of those two things, it mixes together, and that is the result. But that doesn't matter. You basically just go by hearing. So the manual suggests in this that oscillator 2 is modulating oscillator 1. So whatever oscillator 2 is doing is changing the output of oscillator 1. So they're saying it's best to turn the volume of oscillator 2 down for this, and then anything you do will still change the sound of oscillator 1, even though the volume is completely down. And they're saying that, so they say in the manual that turning the tuning of oscillator 2 just changes the character, and turning the tuning of oscillator 1 changes the tuning. But in reality, changing the tuning of oscillator 2 definitely greatly changes the tuning as well. But that is what you can do to find all the cool sounds. But you don't also have to have the volume down. You can have it in there and get some extra ugly kind of tones in there, or sometimes maybe some nice little surprises somewhere. Not any of that, but that is what that is for. And then we got the other mode, which is ring mod fixed. So it's the same, except oscillator 2 doesn't change tuning with changing notes, so it will stay at where it is at, and be basically a drone. So if you were to hear it, I'll turn just it up. See, you play different notes, it's still playing the same note. So you can actually have the volume up if you want to have like a certain note that's consistent in a sound, where you play other notes and like one is like a certain droning note. That is definitely a fun option in certain situations, especially if you're making like some like hard techno or something like that, where you want a lot of like discordant sounds and everything. if you turn it down, then you can just use it to change the shape of oscillator 1, and it just has a different character, and it's a little bit more harsh, but it's fun. See, just like a slight detuning from 0 adds kind of like a rhythmic beating that will change. That's kind of a nice sound there. Wow, that's actually really nice. Nice, I mean, I like really dirty stuff. Oh yeah. Getting carried away. Actually, let's go to this one that I made earlier to show the differences in the hard sync, because I think it was pretty good. So, oh yes, I didn't actually get to hard sync yet. Let's go back and do that first. So hard sync is the last option. Hard sync, that is every time oscillator 2 gets through its shape. So like the oscillator has finished its pulse and is back at 0, it resets oscillator 1. And it basically just results in a more like together sound, and lets you kind of play with the tunings and the settings and stuff of everything, and it'll still kind of like sound in tune, and just lets you do a lot of things to find nice characters that stay in tune. So if being in tune is really important and you want like one big sound, then oh yeah, let's turn it up. Then hard sync is for you. So like, and you can have like different levels of each. Everything you do in this will have very different results with hard sync. So with hard sync, tuning oscillator 2 is the thing that will change the pitch. So if you need to tune it, use oscillator 2. Oscillator 1 will change the character. And unlike with the ring mod, this one is pretty reliable, where like it stays in tune. Like it still sounds very much in tune. And it just adds like this harmonic other layer that blends in that you can play with. Really cool stuff. Yeah, so that is hard sync. And then I'll just go back to this. So just to show you, that's hard sync. The fixed ring mod on this sounds so cool. I don't know, it sounds like a cool game soundtrack right there. You got some filter movement with post filter overdrive. Again, that is my favorite thing. Crank the overdrive, put it to post, and then have some filter movement. And then we got the normal ring mod. Another great sound. Fixed, normal. And then on this, I have the volume of both up, so that shows you don't always have to have level 2 down. It can sound great depending on what you're looking for. And then with them off, this is the bass sound. Ring mod, fixed, hard sync. Fun stuff. Let's get back to it, and we're back to our little friend here. We got the reset for the oscillators. So this just means every time you press a note, it's deciding whether or not it's going to reset the oscillators back at the starting point of 0 so that it sounds consistent. So we got phase reset off. You can hear it's shifting. You can hear the whole waveform is going over time. It's not the same every time you press it. With phase reset on, it'll always be the same. So that is to taste and per sound, whatever works for your sound. And then you also have random, which will be even more, instead of following the wave shape of off, it is randomly picking a point every time a note is pressed. So yeah, all to taste. For like something like an arpeggio, sometimes random can be nice to like really add a bunch of character to it. But that's that. And then we got oscillator drift. So this is making the oscillators detune from each other over time. I think is it on every press, or is it like as you hold it? Let me just check here. So oscillator drift. Well, the manual just says it sets the random amount of pitch drift on oscillator 1 and 2. So I think it's just every time you press it, it might be like slightly out of tune here or there to give kind of a more analog feel. So if you want that kind of like oscillator detuning stuff that we've been talking about, but you want it to be kind of like more random and sound kind of like your machine is going out of tune, because it's like an old analog piece of equipment, that's what you do. It's fun to do. I add this to most of my sounds, just makes them a little bit more interesting. But sometimes you want it to be consistent, and then you turn that off. And then we'll go to the last page here, which is the noise page. So noise, it is fun, it is great. You can add it into everything. We got 3 different types. Well, it's kind of like 1 and then 2 variations of another one. But we got the white noise, which is like the one on the FM drum, where like all the way to the left is white noise. And then let's just turn these down for now. So it's just the noise. So this turn the noise character to the right, and it'll get more grainy and sparse. And then we got tuned noise. So this is pretty low and grainy. So this is because this is a tuner for the noise here. So I don't know if, does this lock into things? It does. So you can funk and turn to lock into octaves. So with the tuned noise, you are setting the bass tuning of the noise here, and then as you change notes, it will go up. So you do want to make sure that this, if you want it to be in tune with your oscillators, you want to make sure that this bass is in tune from the start, and then it'll follow the rest of the way. This is fun. It sounds kind of like I don't know, old Game Boy percussion or something. And then we got sample and hold noise, which is the same as the tune noise, except it doesn't change when you play different notes. So if you want it to sound the same and just find your spot, like I want it to sound like that every time, let's turn these back on, and then you can do that. And then this is you got a full attack, hold, decay envelope here for the noise. So you can have the noise fade in over time, and then yeah, you know what an envelope is. But if you just want it to be like a short burst at the start, Bob's your uncle. And then you got your filter for it. A lot of noise exists like purely within one area, or like within a narrow area, so sometimes you gotta find the right spot, otherwise you won't hear it at all. So like I don't hear the noise anymore at all because it's all up in the higher end. But yeah, that lets you shape the sound a little even more. Yeah, so just like everything else, make sure that you're using your effects to make your sound better, and your filters, as I showed you with the other one. And that is the Wavetone engine. It is fairly simple, but very powerful. It is fun. I use it all the time. It is probably my favorite engine to reach for, and you should do the same. So I hope this was useful. Thanks for watching. I will be doing the Swarm engine next, and I have a lot of other videos planned, which I'll be kind of cranking out instead of making music, because that is the time of year it is for me. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day, and goodbye.